what's up, friends? How are you doing? I hope you're well. Let me change my graphics up just a little bit to this guy right here. Welcome to Simply Cyber Live. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, and every Thursday we bring on industry guests who can bring value to their specific niche, and this week is absolutely no different. I am super excited for our guest today and the value that he and his organization can bring to all of us. Our guest is Irfan Shakil, and he is the VP of Training and Certification at Opswat. Now, specifically, we're going to be talking about Opswat Academy today and around critical infrastructure. Let me get rid of this little overview because I want to show you guys something. If you're not really paying attention to what's going on with critical infrastructure, guys, it has become a really mainstream issue and topic around protecting it, okay? 1996, Bill Clinton comes out, President Clinton, and he's like, listen, critical infrastructure is a thing. They break it up into 16 different segments, and for good reason, because as everything starts to get interconnected, they can get touched from anywhere in the world by threat actors, and this includes operational technology, industrial control systems, the works. And there has been numerous instances, dams, water treatment plants, Colonial Pipeline just last year. We know about all of these, and industry researchers like Gartner are expecting an increase in this activity in the near future. So it is wildly important that we look at all of the critical infrastructure, not just the utility and power grid, not just the economics, but we're talking health and human services, wastewater, chemical, defense, industrial base. It's all critical. But how do we protect it? What skills are required to protect it? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about Opswat Academy. We're going to talk about the work that Irfan and the other folks over there have set up that is freely accessible because they are motivated to educate the workforce to be able to actually be equipped to handle these pending attacks when they come. I really can't wait for you guys to meet him. He's a really great guy. Now, before we get into it, standard rules apply in case you're new here. We are going to be interviewing him for about an hour. It's going to be awesome. Chat is on the stage. You guys can see it. I can see it. Irfan can see it. If you have questions for us, put a Q in the front of it because otherwise I don't know if you guys are talking to each other, having a good time, or if it's a question for Irfan. But if it is for him, I'll flag it, pull it off to the side, and throw it on stage and make sure that he answers it. We're going to go through a lot of stuff today. I think you're really going to enjoy it. I've actually played with the Academy myself a little bit. Some of you may have seen the badging on my LinkedIn profile that I earned, all free. So without further ado, let's go learn how to protect the critical infrastructure and have a good time doing it. Hey, what's up, Irfan? How you doing, man?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. And how are you?
I'm good. Everybody's super pumped here. Outpost Gray, looks like a lot of people from Jack Scott's Outpost Gray live stream just ended are pouring in here. So much love and shout out to Jax for raiding our live stream today. So Irfan, let's get right into it because we don't have a lot of time and critical infrastructure is wildly important. Just talking about critical infrastructure for a minute. When I think critical infrastructure, I inevitably go right to utility power, ICS and SCADA and stuff like that. But it really does encompass a larger swath of, services. Is there a lot of transferable skills across different critical infrastructure? And I want to just dive right into it. We can define critical infrastructure afterwards, but are the skills transferable across all of them, or is it really specialized per individual space?
I would like to start with the, background since most of the people here,
perfect.
they belong to the cybersecurity community. And even I'm coming from cybersecurity. I've been doing, the traditional network pen testing, web app security and all. However, while doing all these things, I've seen that the critical infrastructure, like as you mentioned, the dams, the power plant, the nuclear facilities, all those important segments or industries are being targeted, especially if you remember. And I think people, since we all from cybersecurity background, we must know that the Stuxnet malware that affected Iran's nuclear plant. So after that, it happened. So my interest toward this critical infrastructure, it began. So I started investigating, I started learning into that direction, and I discovered a whole new world. And as you said, that the critical infrastructure is not only about the energy sector, it's not only about the electric grid station or nuclear plant, it's more than that. And of course we will get into that. There are 16 segments in the United States. The government has identified that these are the 16 industries that are so critical for the nation to rely on, or to thrive, or even to survive. Now, as far as the skill set is concerned, if you understand the fundamentals, if you know the core skills, then definitely you will be able to apply your foundational skills to all the industries, all the segments. However, each industry or segment requires some sort of additional expertise or knowledge, but it's not like that you have to earn those skills in the college. Once you will get into the field, you will learn those things. But at the end of the day, the concepts are similar, such as you want to protect your assets. And when we talk about the critical infrastructure, we primarily focus on the industrial systems like OT security, ICS security, and SCADA system. And if I get down into the hardware, such as the PLCs and other stuff, at the end of the day, you want to protect your information, you want to protect your OT network. So, as I said, that skills, of course, skills are transferable if you understand OT, which means that if you work in a specific, no matter which industry you are working in, or no matter which manufacturing side are you working in, or you are going into the chemical, you need to deal with more or less similar sort of things,
Mm-hmm.
the core concept. So it's very important that you understand the core concepts. Then specialized skills you will get once you get into that sector.
So you had mentioned that you came from a pen testing background originally. When I think of protecting critical infrastructure, I'm biased because of my career path and everything. I immediately think, oh, defend, defend, defend. So for people who are in chat right now who maybe have gone up the pen testing path, the more red path, I mean, is there opportunity for them as well to deliver value in the critical infrastructure space?
Yes. Just think about the CIP or SIP or critical infrastructure protection. These are, as I said, that 16 industries or
Mm-hmm.
sectors, most important one. Now consider that when we conduct the pen testing, let's talk about the network pen testing. We test these vulnerabilities of the network. We find out either the certain ports, either some ports are open or not. Either if it is open, it is vulnerable, or any vulnerable services are running. When we talk about the critical infrastructure protection, if we are doing the pen testing, so in the SIP industry, you also conduct the pen testing, you also do the ICS pen testing or OT pen testing to find out the vulnerabilities. But of course, in that segment, we will have to apply different rules. There are some protocols, but we want there's a concept called IT and OT convergence. So if we are, because nowadays even the OT system is connected with IT in some manner. We need to
Mm-hmm.
transfer we need to transfer information. So if we look into the OT horizon, the OT, we have IIoT, which is Industrial Internet of Things, connected devices, smart devices,
Mm-hmm.
sensors. These devices, they send the data logs, because automation is everywhere. Now, to do the pen testing, we will have to use this more or less a similar approach, but we will have to adopt different or deal with different protocols.
Mm-hmm.
In OT system, of course, there are different protocols. However, when we see the conversion, we also deal with the same, like HTTP, HTTPS,
Mm-hmm.
FTP. For when we go into the OT, we'll have to deal with different protocols, but rule is same. You need to find the vulnerability if we are going to conduct the pen testing. Similarly, if you are working as a defender, then you will have to implement the defensive policies.
Mm-hmm.
You will have to, if let's talk about the policy side. If you are management or the compliance side, then of course you have to deal with the OT related policies, the compliance. So it's like It's like we are applying the same cybersecurity principles, but we are dealing with different technologies. We are dealing
Hmm.
with different protocols and tools.
I love it. So we got some questions kind of rolling in here that I want to just kind of filter in because these are good questions, and I'm going to ask them in a certain order. So Zilazar Dietzel, thanks for being here. Also, shout out to Alicia, Jerry, Carrie, Bob, Justin Gold, James Driscoll. I see you guys, and Nick Barker. How important is solid threat intelligence for SOC teams when we're talking about critical infrastructure?
Threat intelligence, as I said, all the rules that applies on cybersecurity applies here as well. So threat intelligence and the solid threat intelligence is very critical, very important. If you have the intel, if you know what's happening, because critical infrastructures around the world, hackers are now attacking on these industries,
Hmm.
and these industries are so critical and so important. And just to let you know that cybersecurity skill shortage, of course, is affecting the entire industry, all the IT sector. However, especially the critical infrastructure, the SIP industry is being affected by the skill shortage. And at the moment, threat as far as the threat intelligence is concerned, for IT, we have different sources. We have different sources of uh, you know different threat sources from where we can collect the intelligence. But for SIP industry, for critical infrastructure, we do not have you know many, or I must say that more organized or established sources at the moment. There are few at the moment. Of course, the industry is growing,
Hmm.
companies are working, people are creating the threat sources, but it's not that mature. However, the importance is inevitable. We need the threat information, we need the threat intelligence. It's like that, if you're working in a SOC, of course, if you have the threat intelligence uh, upfront, then you will be able to protect your infrastructure.
Yeah, and actually, to tie into this, just this morning there was a news article coming out from CISA, Jen Easterly directing, basically public and private sector to start for critical infrastructure specifically to put timelines around notifying CISA and the FBI of a serious or a major cybersecurity attack within 72 hours, ransomware attack within 24 hours. So, I mean, we're already seeing kind of this coalescence of the federal government trying to interact and have these different critical infrastructure parts play essentially threat intelligent roles by, oh no, like I'm on fire. Let me tell everybody else that I'm on fire and how I caught fire to protect the rest of the critical infrastructure. Because it really does take a village, I would argue, to protect our critical infrastructure. Do you have a thought on that?
Yeah, definitely it's a shared responsibilities. If one sector is affected by ransomware, or any other by any other threat actor, it is good that if they are sharing the information so that other people can protect themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Carrie had a quick question, a little bit more broader range. What skills should one obtain if they want to get into cybersecurity? Let's focus it specifically on critical infrastructure protection because that's your bag. Any skills that jump out as like maybe more premium skills to obtain for employability?
As I said, that if you understand the core cybersecurity concepts such
Mm-hmm.
as pen testing, compliance side, red teaming and blue teaming, then you need to understand. Let's talk about the industrial cybersecurity, which is ICS, or let's even talk about the OT security. OT is a big umbrella, and ICS comes under the OT.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get into that, you need to understand how the OT works, how OT or operational technology is different than the IT or
Mm-hmm.
information technology. You need to understand the let's start with the basic. If you do not understand the core elements, if you do not know the technologies or the protocols, then you will be able to play with certain tools, but you will not be able to excel in a career. You must understand the components of the OT. For example, as I said, that ICS comes under the OT umbrella, SCADA system comes under the OT umbrella. So how does it work? How do we create the network? Similar to the IT, we use switches, we use different routers For camera, we use for and to create a network, we use different network topology. We use different protocols. So I'm correlating all these things with the IT, since IT is more common than the OT
Hmm.
at the moment. So all of these things happening in the OT system as well. You need to understand all these things. You need to understand the different protocols, the communication protocols, the signaling protocols. You need to understand different
Hmm.
components, as I said. So these are the foundational skills that you must know or must understand in order to get into the industrial cybersecurity or critical infrastructure protection.
Yeah, absolutely. And OT, I would argue, is not, I mean, the OT community isn't exclusive, but I feel like when you're transitioning from IT into cyber, you bring all those IT skills. You're not really messing around with PLCs and SCADA and stuff like that. So it is something that I would argue you have to be deliberate about going and getting that knowledge and going and getting that education. It's not, you're not going to pick it up in corporate America, I guess, for lack of a better
Yeah,
term.
and again, since this education, the critical infrastructure protection education is not common. It's not common at all. For cybersecurity, you can see tons of content out there. You can see, blog posts. You will learn from YouTube everywhere. But for critical infrastructure protection, you will not, it's not easy to find the valuable content online. That's why we are doing this. We are creating valuable content. We are guiding people how to get into the critical infrastructure cybersecurity.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to Derek, Damien Darcy, who found, we're here to talk about Opswat Academy, but apparently Irfan has some content out there on ehacking.com. So,
It's .net, by the way.
oh, okay, academy.ehacking.net. Thank you for clarifying that. One quick question, and then I want to kind of pivot back into Opswat Academy and actually look into it. And guys, if you want, hit exclamation point Opswat in chat, and you'll get a link to the academy, which is what we're going to be talking about in a minute. Nick Barker, my left coast friend, he's asking about what kind of value experience with legacy systems would give you on kind of getting an edge in the ICS space.
You know, as far as the legacy system is concerned, of course, it's not like that you will get an edge, but of course you'll know something. If you understand the legacy system, you know what's happening. Things are rapidly changing. Just think about, again, let me give you an example of the cybersecurity. Let's talk about when in 2002 or maybe 2000, all those protocols that we see now, such as HTTPS, at that time it was vulnerable. HTTP, plain text. So the critical infrastructure, it is affected by more of the same thing. At the end of the day, all these technologies, all these systems, devices, they have been created to facilitate the user, to enhance the user experience. These are
Mhm.
not security focused devices, or at least when it was created, or these devices were created at that time, the focus was not security. So using the legacy system, or if you understand the legacy system, if you use your skills, it's going to help you, but it will not give you an edge nowadays. It will not give you an edge.
Yeah, and I would argue we haven't made that much progress on delivering security as opposed to features, functionality, value. I mean, options, UX. Right. Anytime I need someone to update their devices, I tell them about the new emoji keyboard that comes with the update. I don't tell them about the 0 day that it patches. You know what I mean? To get buy-in from the end user
Yeah,
communities.
improving the user experience. People, but now, I'm glad that organizations are working towards security as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about OpSWAT Academy a little bit since you are the VP of Training and Certification over there. I'll change the screen to pull it up, but essentially, what is OpSWAT Academy doing? And I know what it is. This is more for chat. Like, well, what is OpSWAT Academy's kind of delivery vehicle, or what are they up to?
Okay, let me just give you some background of Opswat first, and then we will be able to understand what Opswat Academy is doing and why Opswat Academy is even doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So, Opswat is the parent company of Opswat Academy. Opswat is being in, and Opswat is the world's leader in critical infrastructure protection. So Opswat offers solutions, services, and technologies. Morely, the technologies and this and the solutions to protect the critical infrastructure. Now, at Opswat, we felt the need that, as I said, that the skills gap, we
Mm-hmm.
felt the need that though we are giving the world class services, we still feel that people, you know the organizations, when we provide the services, the organization, they do not have the right kind of people to even implement those technologies. So education is more important now. We need people in the industry. We need people who can actually work to protect, who can implement all these technologies, who can implement all these policies to protect the critical infrastructure. And as I said, that the cybersecurity industry itself is affected by the skill shortage, and same goes to the critical infrastructure. And it's the skills gap is affecting the SIP industry severely. We do not have the people. We do not, as I said, that even we don't have the organized curriculum or courses or training. Thus, we do not have the people. So what Oxford Academy is doing, Oxford Academy is offering training, is offering hands-on training
Mm-hmm.
to the people, and it's free, because the objective is that we need more people in the industry. We need people to know what is critical infrastructure protection, what are different fundamentals of the critical infrastructure protection. We want to create more professionals to go into the market to start their career. Of course, cybersecurity industry is now getting mature. We have tons of people over there, and more are joining daily. However, the SIP industry is relatively new. We are inviting people, we are educating people. That's why we are creating content, tons of content, and we are putting all these things for free so that people can join, can understand, can learn, and then eventually can get into the industry to protect the critical infrastructure.
Yeah, I love it. To me, it's like it's a community service as well as kind of adhering to the mantra of like a rising tide lifts all boats, right? So if we're training workforce and getting them deployed, and then they're securing not everywhere, but if they're securing more, it makes the overall phalanx, if you will, stronger across all parts, which is huge. It's huge, especially when we're talking about things like the water I drink out of my tap, right? Or the way that I heat my house, right? Right. So I want those things just fine where they are. I don't need
and,
any
e-
problems with that.
and you know and even the transportation, and don't forget
Yeah,
the health is very important.
absolutely. Like all of them, really. I mean, here, I'm just going to pull this up again. Like, I've got this graphic. Guys, I pulled it up. Hold on. I'm going to go stand by, Irfan. I'm going all in on this one here, right? Like, look at what we got, guys. He and I are kind of covering these up, but these 16 different things, like I said, a lot of them are considered like normal, but as Irfan just mentioned, transportation. Guys, when Maersk went down after NotPetya, it was a hot mess on fire, right? Like cue the dumpster fire emotes in chat if you are a squad member, please, right? Communications, guys, if you can't talk, and Irfan, before we get into Opswat Academy, I'm actually kind of curious because I had a question or a discussion with someone recently. Of all of these infrastructures, which one do you think is the most vital, or the one that if it collapsed would be the most devastating? And I'll tell you the one that this individual told me afterwards.
Well, for me, I mean, that's a very difficult question,
Mm-hmm.
because at the end of the day, all of these 16 sectors, they are somehow, you know, if you think clearly, then somehow they are linked together,
Mm-hmm.
and they all 16 are very important for a nation to survive. At the end of the day, when a cybersecurity attack, when a threat actor attacks a private company, let's say a small medium enterprises, and then only the users, the customers, the employees, the board of directors, I mean the people who are connected with that company are get affected. However, if if a threat actor attacks on any of these facility, then the entire nation, the governments get affected. So for if you again, as I said, that you asked a very difficult
Yeah.
question, but for me, I believe that people of course, for for someone, food is very important because we need
Yep.
food, and for somebody, healthcare and water, they are very, but for me, I think energy. If you won't have the energy, if energy is not accessible. However, if you think from the country security point of view, then of course the nuclear facilities and the
Mm-hmm.
defense. So it depends on the prospect, or the what. I mean, since you asked the question, what's in your mind? I mean, what do you want to, as I said, that if you want to know that either if it is being affected, so can we rely, can a country, can the people of that country, can they survive, thrive?
Mm-hmm.
Then of course, I mean, water and energy and food. And if you talk about the military, then of course the defense, the nuclear systems.
Yeah, it really gets tricky. There's really no right answer. I was just kind of curious on what your logic would be. I was an advocate of if the communication system went down, which is not one of the more popular ones, but if people are unable to communicate, it turns into a hot mess scenario instantly because you're not being able to logistically coordinate anything. But the individual who came on, I can't remember right now, but they actually told me food and agriculture was the number one because if you can mess that up, I mean, it only takes. I mean, look at our early pandemic when like toilet paper became like a currency. Um, you know what I mean? So people like there's a run on all these things. But anyways, fun little digression.
And yeah, food crises are real, believe
Yeah,
me.
yeah, exactly. So let's talk about how we're gonna avoid any of these critical infrastructures from getting impacted. Opswat Academy, right? What exactly is Opswat Academy? I know you explained the value of it and where it came from, but if you were gonna kind of distill down into a few sentences, what is Opswat Academy? Because we're about to tear the lid off this thing and dive headfirst into it. So, what would you how would you describe it?
Well, I would like to describe Oxford Academy in one sentence, and it's gonna be that Oxford Academy is solving the SIP cybersecurity skills gap.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, plain and simple. Solving the SIP cybersecurity skills gap. Now, to elaborate or to give further explanation, as I said, that skills. Oxford Academy is giving the knowledge, the education, the training accessible. It's making all these things accessible, available to the people, regardless of geographical location, demographic, no matter from where you belong, no matter where do you live. If you have the internet, just log in, just come online, log in, sign up for free, start your learning, get your get into the exam, pass the exam, get your certificate. And we do have certain career and certification paths. So because at the end of the day, critical infrastructure education is so new that we started from the very basic or beginners. So if you go to the level one, you will understand the foundational things. As you mentioned, the you will understand that this term, from where this term, the SIP term, critical infrastructure protection term, comes. Bill Clinton passed a bill, so you will know all these things. Is all of these things or the concepts are the part of the introductory level course. You will understand all these sectors,
Mm-hmm.
and of course it's you will learn in a fun way. You will see that there are different quizzes, uh, you know and of course there are different way to understand the critical infrastructure. And then once you understand the introductory level thing, you will understand, then you will go into the details. You will understand malware analysis, you understand different things like email security, endpoint security, and all these systems.
Yeah, I love it. And, Jay Smith just said he went and signed up for OpsWat after seeing my shiny new badge on LinkedIn. So as you complete, and I want to dig into the roadmap here in a second so people can see the breadth and depth of what OpsWat Academy offers. But as you complete educational paths, there are certification opportunities which are also free. If you complete the certification at a high enough grade level, or you pass enough questions, you get a Credly badge, which you can proudly display on your LinkedIn, your Twitter, like wherever you want. It's all Credly, so it's all hooked in. And if you want, you can go to my LinkedIn profile right now and see exactly what it looks like. It's very nicely done. So let's take a look at. And by the way, if you're interested, either do Opswat in chat right now, or look in the show description if you're on YouTube. And there's a link to the Opswat Academy. It'll take you right here. Okay, use that link because then it helps show that you're coming from Simply Cyber, and they're like, oh yeah, Simply Cyber, good people, obviously. So check it out. This is Opswat Academy. Select a certification to explore. Now, one interesting thing, I'm going to make this full screen, Irfan, just because I think it makes more sense for what we're doing here. Now, guys, one interesting thing it's pretty important to point out here is that you cannot go ham up on this thing, right? You cannot go hard as a mother on this thing because they literally like lock out things to prevent you from taking a path that doesn't make sense. You cannot jump in to advanced level skills if you haven't completed the fundamental skills at the beginning, right? So I kind of, at first I was like, oh God, Irfan, you're killing me here. Like, I want to be able to look at this. And then I realized, like, actually, this is keeping me from hurting myself. So was that a deliberate decision? And you guys can see I've completed the first one, which then unlocked this one and this one down here, and a couple other ones down here. But these are locked. I'd have to do something to unlock these. Can you talk about the decision for that?
Okay, as I said that critical infrastructure education, as I said, it's not common. So if you go into the advanced level courses, you will be probably you will not be able to understand, and you will see what's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
So no matter from where or which background you're coming, you need to complete the first module, which is the introduction to critical infrastructure. And as I said, it's a very beginner friendly, or even beginner friendly, and a small course. It talks about the industry in general. And once you complete that, the second course is going to unlock automatically.
Yep.
However, the other courses, some of them, require some prerequisite. For example, this one is unlocked because your second is unlocked. So once you complete the second one, your third will unlock, and the other one will also unlock. We don't want that, the people, and just to tell you that all of them are free. It's not like that it's behind a paywall or something.
Yep.
You can access, but in order to access, you need to complete the prerequisite. Because, for example, the end compliance associate you can simply not start end compliance associate without completing the ICIP, which is the introduction to critical infrastructure, because you will not even understand that which kind of endpoint devices we are talking about, because the endpoint devices that we talk in cybersecurity is different than the critical infrastructure protection security. So it's like a prerequisite. You need to complete some module, then the other one will be unlocked automatically. So it's like a path. Just follow the path, follow the steps, and you will get all this information.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I mean, if you want to like like say you're interested in, Justin Gold, you asked about legacy systems earlier, or Nick Barker did. I might be getting that messed up, but they have a legacy system security path right here with 3 courses and a certification. So, boom, achievement unlock. Now, the cool thing is you could see I've completed this right up here. You could see I was drawn because I have Carl's in my environment. Which is an inside joke, Irfan. Carl is like a token end user who just makes all the bad decisions and clicks on all the wrong things. I went right for endpoint compliance, so you can see that I'm registered there. I'm going to go ahead and click in on this. I just want to kind of show people a little bit deeper under the hood as we click through, if that makes sense for you. So, I've clicked into this one. So now this is the certification. There's 4 courses: risk, personal devices, local security, and then enforcement. Again, like the word free is probably ringing off your eyeballs right now, but you click in this, and then that is the course. And you go through it, you take a quiz at the end, there's different kind of modules. It's not just a talking head. There are interactive modules and stuff like that. And yes, Roger Marine, they are free. Go to hit !Opswat in chat right now in order to get to this Opswat Academy. One thing that you guys did do, Irfan, that I found funny, and I'll be real with everybody here. If it's web-based delivery, right? If you're not on the main screen, and I mean focused on it, not just like it's open. If you're not on it, the training will not progress. It will not move forward. So like I was like listening to the training, and then an email came in. So I like go check my email, and it like stopped talking, and I'm like, wait a minute. And then I go back and like it you cannot fake it. Okay, you can't fake it. You have to be engaged with the content. So well done on that. I mean, I can't tell you how many times end users and people just kind of they have best of intentions, and then they kind of get multitasking and stuff like that. So really interesting as well. Do you want to say anything more about this particular one, or the digging in before we pull up the roadmap, which I think is a fascinating thing to look at?
One thing that I would like to explain again here, for example, these are the 4 courses. Of course, once you complete all 4 of them, you will complete one path, and then you will get your certificate. So once you get into the path, it's like all things are set up here. You don't need to manually look into that. Once you open any path, you will get the associated certificate courses, and once you complete the course, all the courses, you will be awarded a certificate. It's automatic. You'll get the email. You will even get your creditly badge on the email, and even if you click on your profile, you will see the details over there as well. Now, the other part where you mentioned that if you will not focus, if you will be doing some multitasking, then of course the video will automatically stop. It's a deliberate act because we want people to focus, to understand. As I said, that it is something new, and we want that if you are learning, then you should focus, you should understand what's happening, and should not miss anything because it is important.
Yeah, exactly. It does you no good to say that you have the certification if you don't understand any of the education, right? That would be bad. You're going to definitely run into an issue where you're in an interview and they ask you a basic question and you're like, I don't know the answer to that. And they're like, how do you not know the answer? You took all this training, right? Just to call it out, Roger Marine, yeah, if you go to Opswat, you can register. I've done this myself. I've registered. I've taken some of the courses. I've gotten one of the certifications. Zero, it's free 99. As Irfan mentioned earlier in the conversation, Opswat is really driven to get the knowledge, get the education out there, and basically address ultimately the cybersecurity skills gap in the critical infrastructure space, because it is specialized skill and it requires specialized training. And that's what Opswat's doing with this academy, which is why they're on Simply Cyber right now, sharing all this out. Just FYI, Irfan, you're getting some love for the actual UX of the site. So I don't know if you were involved with that, but shout out to the UX designers out there.
No, I will send the love to them. Don't worry.
All right. A couple specific questions. Leah Zimmerman's asking, how long do the pods take on average? I'm thinking either maybe one certification track or one course, maybe, just to kind of give a ballpark idea of commitment that they're looking for.
Well, as I said, that the first one, the initial one, the foundational, it has only 2 courses. So your first path has only 2 courses, very beginner friendly, and it's gonna hardly take 40 to 45 minutes, under 1 hour. And it also depends on how quickly you understand all the fundamentals and you clear all the quizzes, because you cannot move forward until you give all, until you pass certain quizzes. So, and upon the path, when you will start going into the advanced courses, the time duration will increase. But we have created the content in a manner that you will eventually love it, because we haven't created the 20 minutes long video. It's not like that you will have to spend 20 to 30 minutes just watching single video and getting bored sometimes. It's like very interactive and engaging.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you are spending your hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, you will love that.
I love it. It's perfect. And I think it's nice because it's consumable content, right? It's not like burning the midnight oil kind of thing. Roger Marine asked a pretty good question, whether or not this education would apply for CPEs. Absolutely, this is continuing education. This is focused education within the information security space. Usually CPEs are mapped to hours per time, so you'd have to track how much time you're committing. But I mean, just make a conservative estimate, and you'll be good to go. A lot of people in chat have signed up or have already signed up, Irfan, so it's really good. One of the questions here, I noticed that you touched on the thoroughness of the training. Was there any outside influence that made a focus that a focus for you? The thoroughness of the training.
Outside influence, I certainly say that no, it's not like that. It's, as I said, that it's more like that we want to do something. Or it's like we want to give back to the community. So even though if you see that the government, the other organization, the private sector, they are also now started focusing and creating opportunities, training, resources for the people. But Opswat Academy is on its own doing all these things, and we are doing it on on purpose. As I said, that to give education, to create awareness as far as the critical infrastructure security is concerned.
Absolutely. So can we pull up a I want to pull up the roadmap because I've shown you guys a couple different specifics, but this roadmap is kind of gonna like melt your face. All right, so get your sunblock on because you're ready for a face melting. Okay, so Ephraim, I'm looking at the Academy roadmap, the Opswat Academy roadmap. What are we looking at here? Is this is the scope of the entire Academy training curriculum? Is this what we're looking at? And is there a certain order that you would recommend going down?
Okay, so first of all, you can see on your left, all of these are the associate certifications, and as I said that all of these are industry standard industries for take. And the first course, which is the critical infrastructure protection fundamental, which seems that you have taken it already. I can see the tick mark here. And so this is in order. First, you need to take that one, and after that you will have to take the file security associate, and similarly the list goes on. So it's all shows a clear path that you need to understand the industry first, and then you need to understand file security. For example, if a certain file is at rest in your computer or any other devices, you need to understand that how it can create a security risk, how this particular file can affect the critical infrastructure, and how you can or why you should protect it. Similarly, you will, once you go to the data transfer, which means the data is in motion when you are transferring something, you'll understand the security risk, associated security risk, and then eventually how to protect, what sort of protocols you should understand. At the end of the day, if you are transferring the data, there are certain tools, there are certain protocols are in play. You need to understand those things. Similarly, these storage and the legacy system, as you have discussed already, web traffic, email security, and compliance, endpoint compliance. Compliance is very important, even if you're working in, as I said, that either it's cybersecurity or either it's critical infrastructure cybersecurity. Compliance is very important. You need your devices to be in compliant with the government rules and policies and etc. So you'll understand all these things, and then eventually you'll go down to the network security. Now this, all of these are available at the moment. There will be more content. It's not that this is the end. We are, it's like an ongoing process. We are not only developing more content, we are improving our system, we are improving our website layout, user experience, certification, all these things. And we are also creating ICS and OT focused training, such as at the you cannot see all these things here because it's not live, but it's the it's in our roadmap. We are planning to create some IR related courses, threat intelligence, relevant courses where you will learn how to uh, use the effective threat intelligence to protect your critical infrastructure, or how you can, after the incident, how can you use the incident responder tools or policies and techniques to find out what happened, or how your critical infrastructure, for example, if you are working in a electric grid station and you have been affected by the ransomware, then at the end of the day, you need to employ different IR strategy, incident response strategy, and after that the digital forensics as well. As I said, same concept but with different tools, different technologies, different protocols and all. So we are developing all these content. So the team is heavily, we are very committed. We have a, we, as I said, that we have a commitment. We need to provide the content, we need to provide education to the people. So we are continuously developing the content, we are continuously creating the courses, and we are making all these things accessible to the people.
I love it. I had no idea that you guys were continuing to refine and continuing to add new content. That's fantastic. Um, couple questions coming in that I think are very very germane to what we're talking about. Damien asks, eventually, you guys are obviously delivering a lot of value, right? Typically, this type of value has some type of price tag associated with it. But one of the reasons that you came on was because this is incredible and it's accessible to everybody and it's free. So there are no, financial barriers to anyone getting access to this content. And now you're revealing that it's going to be more content and it's certifications and it's awesome. Is there any plans for charges? And if so, would people be grandfathered in, or how would these type of users who are listening right now be potentially impacted?
First of all, if first of all, at the moment we don't have any plan, but yes, at the end of the day, we have, people, they are working, we will be needing uh, you know uh, to cover the cost. But as I said, that, or even I see the foreseeable future, we don't have that plan at the moment, or I cannot predict any date. However, if we will do that, then I can certainly tell you that by that time you must have consumed all that content already, or or otherwise, yeah, early adopter will get some options. And even we will be inviting, beta tester to take some modules to understand, to not only understand, to give the feedback as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I can't speak to your business model or anything like that, but I mean, I could certainly see, government grants. I mean, this is directly aligned to protecting critical infrastructure and what CIS is all about. And so don't think about, maybe it's not necessarily an individual cost as much as it is a public service, program type thing. So definitely appreciate that. I want to give a shout out to Shane Simmons. Shane is Shane. I might get your title wrong, but he's CIO over the Department of Employment Workforce for the entire state of South Carolina. Shane and I have worked together a little bit on an internship program that he has rolled out fully. It's awesome. It's a cybersecurity internship program. He'll be using Opswat Academy in the internship program now too, which is fantastic. And Shane, I owe you a phone call. I haven't forgot. So
Yeah, it's
so
great to know.
yeah, look at this thing. It's already getting traction. I love it. I love it. Um, okay, so let me pedal back because I got so excited. Let's talk a minute about career opportunities. Okay, so we've talked about cybersecurity workforce gaps. We've talked about here's all this education, here's all this tooling, here's all this knowledge. Go, the individual has to take the step to go apply themselves and go get that knowledge and go learn it and consume it and be practical with that knowledge. What do they do next, or like what are the kind of the opportunities within knowing that knowledge and being able to get employed and deliver value to an organization?
If I talk about this cyber career opportunity in general, let's start with in general, then I'll get into the specifics. So if the industry uh, is lagging behind, we, as I said, we do not have the people. It comes, of course, it comes with responsibilities and career opportunities as well. So if you are, it's like a you guys will be the early ones. So it's like in let's say 5 years ago, if you started the pen testing, then you must be working as a red team champ somewhere, or maybe CISO somewhere. So it's like the early adoption. Once you get into, you will understand the or the critical infrastructure cybersecurity. Then of course you will be in a better position if you say after 5 years. Now, even if you want to get in now, the career opportunity is huge. And as I said, the entire cybersecurity is facing the skill shortage gap, and due to the increasing cyber attack in the critical infrastructure, all the industries, chemicals, electric, water, sewage system, the government is hiring. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the date, but I think last month, the government has released or passed several bills focusing on the critical infrastructure education and the career opportunity. So government is investing heavily, and government, because government, at the end of the day, government facilities are the most important one that need protection.
Mm-hmm.
Government is hiring people to protect the nuclear system, is hiring people to protect the, because at the end of the day, if you remember that when the Russian Ukraine war started, the attack on Ukrainian electric grid station happened, the capital city blackout for 1 hour.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants that at the end of the day. And even if you are a government representative, you really don't want that. You want the entire critical infrastructure to be well protected.
Mm-hmm.
Thus government is spending a lot. They want people to be trained so that they can employ them. At at the moment, the Senate passed the bill of cybersecurity, especially especially the critical infrastructure cybersecurity rotation, because they don't have people. And they also passed another bill, as I said, that I can't recall the date, but it's somewhere last month. But anyway, so they are investing more in critical infrastructure education because they need people. So now
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about what kind of opportunities. As I said, that either you are going to be in a compliance or the management side, or you are going to test the security as a cybersecurity professional, or you will be going into the defensive side, creating or managing the secured network, creating the secure OT system. And it's not only OT anymore. If you are coming from IT background, your IT background will help you, immensely help you, because IT OT is now converging to a point. Because at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, we need from OT system, we need the data to be transferred via IT system to different mobile application nowadays. Even if you are working in a power plant, you are getting information on your mobile phone. It's IT. So OT is now linking with or connected with the IT. So IT and OT, if you're coming from IT background, you are going to perform very well. You just need to understand the OT system, and then you're good to go.
I love it. So there you go, guys. I mean, there is need. Federal government, at least in the United States, is making efforts to promote education and promote opportunities. And like you said, nobody wants a critical infrastructure attack. So I absolutely love it. We have a couple more questions coming in from chat that I think are very, very valid. We talked about getting certified. I've got the badge on my account right now. Do they have expiration dates?
Yeah, the certification badges comes with an expiration, and then you need to it's more like the standards. You need to show some continuing education, that you have taken certain seminars, you have been to different conferences, or you have taken maybe your online session to understand
Exactly.
yeah, because
Daily
at the end of
cyber
the day,
threat briefing, right? Get
yeah.
on that. Get on that. I love it. So you just
Yeah.
have to maintain the certifications. They don't necessarily expire, Naveed.
No, no, you
Abdullah,
need to
I
prove
answered
that
this.
you
So I answered this question in chat, but I probably should have let you answer it because I made assumptions. Are there any prerequisites? Any can anyone take this? Is this available to everybody?
As I said, that the first course, that it's the prerequisite to all the other courses, and which means that the first course is what you will understand everything about the critical infrastructure protection security. However, if you are coming from IT security background, then it will help you a lot. Otherwise, you will have to, of course, do some more research, and you will have to focus more. However, if you do not have any IT security background, then that's okay, we have you covered, but you'll have to focus more, you'll have to give more time. But if you're coming from IT background, then you will be, or you will understand, or you already knew all these concepts such as sniffing, so you don't need to understand what sniffing is. When we use the term sniffing, sniffing is sniffing.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that's perfect. It's like pivoting into regular IT cybersecurity, essentially, right? Like anything you bring in with you will help you. I do want to spend a minute on this question. You've kind of spoke about this a little bit in a couple different responses, Erfan, but I wanted to specifically answer this question: is education within Opswat Academy helpful for a GRC career?
you know again, the answer is, for me, if you think, or if you want to know my perspective, then of course yes, and it is
Mm-hmm.
yes. And I'll tell you why. Because at the end of the day, as I said, that even the critical, if you see the 16th sector, you will see the IT as well,
Mm-hmm.
communication as well. So GRC, I mean, it's implemented everywhere. It's like, if you go into the communication segment or communication sector, then of course you are dealing with all these policies and compliance side. And again, nowadays IT, OT, they are converging, which means
Mm-hmm.
that if you know these things, then eventually it's going to helpful. So if you know the OT, it's going to helpful in your IT career as well. So if you know the compliance side, if you know the policy side, it's going to help you uh, everywhere.
Yeah, and I would argue, like any good cyber program, yes, you got the technician, you got the Erfans with the pen testing skills and the, looking at, protocols and stuff like that, but there is management, there is interfacing with the business. There is, especially in OT, dealing with the field operators, the field engineers, the essentially the end users that are not Carl in accounting, but actually like Kevin, who's like turning wrenches and working on cyber physical machines, who you need to engage with as part of that discussion, and that's an entire skill set that a GRC person would really be best suited for executing on. And if you don't have the background that Opswat Academy that could deliver to you, or have some industrial control system opportunity, what's going to happen is that engineer is going to look at you and say, like, you don't understand anything that I'm doing. Why am I going to listen to you about anything? Like, get up out my face, right? Like, and that's just the reality. You're not going to get buy-in from those operators unless you understand how that OT works in some capacity.
It's like that you need to talk to their language, and you need to understand their language.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And it provides buy-in because otherwise they're not going to believe anything you're saying or understand what you're saying. Roddy, Roddy asks a question. I know that there's some interactive modules, at least within the content that I explored. Can you talk about kind of the educational modules and kind of the different types of educational modules?
Okay, and specifically, this question is really interesting and very exciting as well, because today, even, I'll tell you that today I was talking with my team, and we were having the discussion that because we are currently creating labs, the OT ICS, the industrial lab, is unlike from the IT lab, is different in nature, because when we have to create that lab, we will have to interact with various hardwares, as I said, that the PLC, the HMIs, so there are other monitoring systems and all these things. So the virtual lab, unlike IT or cybersecurity, the critical infrastructure virtual lab is different. And if you talk that at the moment, these courses, these courses are fundamental courses. It gives you the information, but you will not get the virtual lab access. However, we are doing that. We are creating a SCADA virtual setup, and people will be able to access these labs. And even if you scroll to my LinkedIn, you will see I posted the live demonstration of the lab. And
Do you want me to go there right
maybe if you
now?
can pull,
I'll
because
pull. Yeah, I'll pull it up right now. Keep talking about it. What exactly is it?
yeah, because it's a simulated lab environment in the at Opswat office. However, we are creating similar sort of things. It's we are in the transition phase. It's not something that you can access now, uh, but eventually, later on, you will be able to access the virtual labs.
Is it something you
So if
posted
you
today, Irfan, or is it on your featured? Is it
no,
network
no,
analysis
not in the
using Wireshark?
feature.
Okay, let me
No, no,
see.
no. If you can click on my activity, I
Yep.
think I posted last week.
All right. I'll see if I can't find it while you're talking here. You
Yeah,
got a
if
lot of
you can
activity.
probably.
A lot of
No, I think you
activity.
should click on that. You should click on that. Go up and
This.
click on the post rather than go up, go up, go up.
Oh, I see what you're
There's like
saying.
all
I
the
see what you're
activities.
saying. You
Yeah,
guys are seeing how the sausage is made right now. There we go. Posts.
yeah,
How's
yeah. The
this?
one that I made. Yeah, go down, go down. More, 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 more. It's just
Oh, look at this. I love it. I love it.
yeah,
Ooh.
this one. Yeah, that's the video. I use my cell phone to record
Yeah.
that. So it's like this lab setup. In this setup, you can see different devices, HMIs, PLCs, Schneider's PLC, and all these things.
Oh, this is fantastic, dude. Yeah. Look at this. This is legit hands-on stuff. I love it. So is the idea that this lab will be, oh, it's got the Opswat branding, very nice. Is this that this thing will be built and then will be essentially remotely accessible through interfaces and stuff like that?
Similar to this, something because this is an internal lab, and
I see.
however, we are creating the simulation because to give access to thousands of people, of course, it cost
Yeah,
buying
I would think.
devices, giving access, and all. However, we are creating this simulation at the moment, and as I said, that we are creating tons of content. So it's part of everything. We are building labs. We will eventually give access to all the people, all these things. So people will learn. At the end of the day, we will have to give education. So it's everything, all of these things, part of the roadmap. We will eventually go there or get there.
This is awesome. Like, when you said that you were going to provide, additional content, I was thinking like, oh, some extra modules, maybe like you fix the verbiage on something. I didn't realize you were going to be building these like interactive SCADA labs. I mean, that's taken it to a whole new level and very, very cool. It looks like chat's loving the labs and loving what's going on there. So you guys keep doing you, and I think the community is going to enjoy it and really get a lot of value out of it. This has been cool. I'm going to drop a link in chat again, or the bot is going to drop a link in chat, guys. This is the link that you can go to get this Opswat Academy training. Okay, it is free. We've been talking about it all day. It's free. And it's got certifications, it's got badging, it's got a million modules. It's all focused on educating you around critical infrastructure protection, securing critical infrastructure, all 16 sectors of it, giving you that knowledge. Huge value. Really, really appreciate it, Irfan. You and all the work that your team is doing. It's awesome. So that's just like a tongue bath. Yeah. That's a tongue bath I just gave you. There was no question there. That was just like awesome. Love it. So, Efron, it looks like we're running out of time right now. So, what I wanted to do was give you an opportunity to have final thoughts, share whatever messaging you would love to do. I've dropped the link for Opswat Academy in chat. I've also put it in the description below. Efron, his LinkedIn, you guys saw it. He's on LinkedIn. He's very active on LinkedIn, so you can engage with him over there as well. But enough out of me, Efron. Let me turn it over to you. The floor is yours, sir.
I mean, I would like to start with the same thing, that this SIP industry, or infrastructure production industry, is growing, and of course, it's being affected by these cyber attacks, and it started happening, and it's happening daily. And we need people, we need cybersecurity, critical infrastructure cybersecurity professionals like you. So get aboard to protect your nation and your people. And also you can learn all these things for free from Opswat Academy. So join now, and don't forget to learn, because learning is the way around.
Absolutely. Huge value. There's really no reason for you guys not to take advantage of this opportunity. It's really, really great education. It's very, very practical, and it's very, very in demand right now, especially given all of what's going on geopolitically speaking, turmoil in Europe and, Albania and Iran earlier this morning. So, there's a lot going on. So don't wait to get educated on this space and be able to deliver value. So, Irfan, I'm going to send you off to the green room. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to be with us, to share Opswat Academy and really go deep on all the details and really what the future state is of the offering. I genuinely appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thanks everyone for the amazing questions and the interactions.
Absolutely. All right, let me send you off to the green room. Guys, real quick before we say goodbye for another awesome day of, Simply Cyber Live, I do want to remind everybody, many of you are regulars in the Simply Cyber Live community, and I love all of you. Thank you so much for your support, engagement, and just being really great members of our cybersecurity community and being inclusive. But if you don't know, if you're new here, if you stumbled in or whatever, every single morning, I run a live stream cyber threat briefing. It's about 45 minutes long. Lots of people, a couple hundred people are there every morning engaging with each other. We go through the top cybersecurity news stories of the day, and I tell you my analysis and my perspective on how you can operationalize those stories. And if you're looking to get into the industry, you're going to get asked in an interview, how do you stay current in the industry? And this is the answer, this right here. So please join us tomorrow at 8 a.m. You can go to simplycyber.io/streams, which is at the header banner at the top. If you're not sure what I just said, just type that in and it'll drop you right in there. Guys, you've been wonderful. Thank you all for being here today. I hope you got value. Hit the like button if that's your jam. I don't care one way or the other. I just hope you got value. That's really what's important to me. Guys, be good, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.